Stop doing what you're doing right now, because this is why your constant search for pleasure is silently destroying you. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to dive deep into something that affects all of us whether we realize it or not. Have you ever wondered why it feels like you're constantly chasing something, never fully satisfied, always needing more? Whether it's scrolling endlessly on social media, reaching for that snack you know you shouldn't, or even binge watching your favorite show for hours on end, there's a reason behind this behavior. And it's not just about having bad habits or a lack of willpower, it's something much deeper. Something that most people don't even realize is happening. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. Today, we're talking about why your endless search for pleasure is actually working against you and how the ancient philosophy of Stoicism might hold the key to breaking free from this cycle of addiction. So, stick around, because what you're about to learn could change your life. We live in a world that's constantly telling us to seek pleasure. Everywhere you look, there's a new product, a new experience, a new way to feel good right now. Advertisements, social media, even the way we interact with each other, all of it is designed to keep us in a state of constant desire. But here's the thing, the more we chase after these quick hits of pleasure, the more we find ourselves feeling empty, anxious, and unfulfilled. It's like drinking salt water. It might quench your thirst for a moment, but in the end, it only leaves you more dehydrated. This isn't just some abstract concept. The science behind it is clear, and it's all connected to a little thing called dopamine. Dopamine is often called the feel-good neurotransmitter. It's what gets released in our brains whenever we experience something pleasurable like eating a delicious meal, getting a like on a post, or buying something new. And don't get me wrong, dopamine is crucial for survival. It's what motivates us to seek out things that are good for us, like food and social connections. But in today's world, dopamine is being hijacked by everything around us. We get bombarded with these little dopamine hits all day long, whether it's from checking our phones, eating junk food, or even just thinking about something we want to do later. And over time, our brains start to change. The more we give in to these little pleasures, the more our brains require higher and higher levels of dopamine to feel the same amount of pleasure. It's like building up a tolerance to a drug, and eventually the things that used to make us feel good just don't do it anymore. We need more, and more, and more. This is where things start to get dangerous, because when we're constantly chasing these fleeting pleasures, we lose sight of what's really important. We start to prioritize instant gratification over long-term fulfillment. We become slaves to our desires, always needing the next fix, the next high. But here's the thing, true happiness, true fulfillment, doesn't come from chasing pleasure. It comes from something much deeper, something that can't be found in a quick dopamine hit. This is something the Stoics understood thousands of years ago. The Stoics philosophers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius believed that pleasure isn't the key to a good life. In fact, they saw it as a potential trap. For the Stoics, the good life wasn't about feeling good all the time. It was about living in accordance with nature, with reason, and with virtue. Seneca, for example, wrote extensively about the dangers of pleasure. He saw it as something that could easily lead to vice and suffering. He believed that the pursuit of pleasure often leads us away from what's truly important, our inner peace, our moral integrity, and our connection to the world around us. In one of his letters, Seneca wrote, "Throw away the things that glitter and dazzle from the outside, and find joy in what's truly yours, your inner self." What he meant by this is that we need to stop looking for happiness in external things and possessions, in status, in fleeting pleasures. Instead, we should focus on cultivating our inner selves, on developing our character, and on living in harmony with our true nature. This idea is at the core of Stoicism. The Stoics believe that the only thing we can truly control is ourselves, our thoughts, our actions, and our reactions to the world around us. Everything else, our circumstances, other people's actions, even our own bodies, is outside of our control. And because of this, the Stoics believe that we shouldn't let these external things dictate our happiness. So, how do we apply this to our lives? How do we break free from the cycle of chasing pleasure and start living in a way that's truly fulfilling? The first step is to become aware of our own desires, to recognize when we're being called towards something that might feel good in the moment, but won't bring us lasting happiness. This might be reaching for that extra slice of cake, or spending hours scrolling through social media, or even just getting caught up in the idea of what we should have or do to be happy. Once we become aware of these desires, we can start to question them. Is this really what I want? Is this really going to make me happy in the long run? Or is it just a quick fix that will leave me feeling empty afterwards? The Stoics practice something called temperance, which is all about finding balance and moderation in life. It's about enjoying the good things in life, but not becoming attached to them. It's about finding pleasure in the simple things, and not needing more and more to be happy. One of the most powerful ways to practice temperance is by embracing discomfort. The Stoics believe that by deliberately putting ourselves in situations that are uncomfortable, like taking cold showers, fasting, or doing intense physical exercise, we can train ourselves to become less dependent on external pleasures. When we do this, something incredible happens. Our brains start to reset. The constant craving for dopamine begins to fade, and we start to find joy in things that we might have overlooked before, like a good night's sleep, a deep conversation, or even just the feeling of being alive. This isn't about punishing ourselves or denying ourselves pleasure. It's about reclaiming our freedom. When we stop being slaves to our desires, we gain control over our own lives. We become the masters of our own happiness. Now, I'm not saying that this is easy, far from it. The path to freedom from addiction is challenging. It's filled with setbacks, temptations, and moments of doubt, but the rewards are worth it. Imagine a life where you're no longer controlled by your cravings, where you can enjoy the present moment without constantly needing more. That's the power of Stoicism. And that's the life you can have if you're willing to put in the work. So, how do we start? How do we begin to incorporate these Stoic principles into our daily lives? The first step is to practice mindfulness. Start paying attention to your thoughts, your actions, and your reactions. Notice when you're being pulled towards something that might give you a quick hit of pleasure, and ask yourself if it's really worth it. Next, start practicing temperance. This could be something as simple as taking a cold shower in the morning, or skipping that second cup of coffee. The goal isn't to deprive yourself, but to train yourself to find joy in things that don't rely on external stimulation. Another powerful tool is journaling. The Stoics were big on this. They believed that by writing down their thoughts, their goals, and their reflections on life, they could better understand themselves and stay on track with their philosophy. Try keeping a journal where you reflect on your day, your desires, and your progress. It can be incredibly powerful. Finally, remember that this is a journey. There will be times when you slip up, when you give in to temptation, when you feel like giving up, and that's okay. What's important is that you keep going, that you keep striving towards that Stoic ideal of inner peace and self-mastery. And remember, you're not alone in this. The Stoics themselves struggled with these same issues, but they found a way to live a life that was truly fulfilling, one that wasn't dependent on external pleasures, but rooted in a deep sense of inner peace and purpose. So, are you ready to take back control of your life? To stop chasing temporary highs and start living with purpose? If you are, then Stoicism might just be the answer you've been looking for. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content on living a meaningful Stoic life. And drop a comment below what's the one thing you want to change in your life starting today. I can't wait to hear from you. And remember, true happiness isn't found in the next hit of dopamine. It's found in mastering yourself, embracing the struggle, and living in harmony with your true nature. See you in the next video.